on YouTube land? I am Chris Catalunya. Before we get into today's shoe review, go ahead and check out my Instagram profile, Chris Catalunya with the underscore at the end. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload a new video. Alright, let's get into the shoe review. The shoe that we are reviewing today is a little bit different from the shoes that have come across this channel. And when I say that, a lot of the shoes that I do review ascertain some type of backstory, whether it be a backstory from the designer, some sort of basketball team or sports team, some kind of backstory. With the Hyper Crimson ones, it lacks that backstory. And it sucks because I usually love talking about backstory on shoes, but I really don't know where to start on this video, so I guess we'll talk about my first impressions of this shoe. Honestly, when I first saw this on Instagram, on the different blogs, I really didn't care too much for this shoe. It just wasn't something that was on my radar. The shoe really came out of nowhere. It seemed like the Nike design team just threw some colors up in the air, and this is what stuck. It kind of reminds me of the Shadows, like a reverse version of the Shadows with some hits of orange. Now, having the shoe in first person, the shoe looks pretty dope, and the materials used on the shoe, they're of average quality. I will say that the translation from like Instagram and the blogs, like the pictures of these shoes, definitely don't do the shoe justice in person. Like, the colors are definitely different in person. The shoe was released on January 24th, 2019, today, which is a Thursday, so most people were back in that school grind or that work grind doing their normal 9 to 5 shifts. It retailed at a price point of $160 USD. Based on your location, taxes might vary. Concerning the resale market, looking on apps like GOAT, StockX, or Grailed, depending on the size that you need, you can see prices ranging from $180 at its lowest point, going all the way up to $300. Now, this shoe, which is a size 9.5, is going for about $240. Concerning release information, I know this released on the Sneakers app, in which it did sell out. Now, it was also released on the Foot Locker app. I don't know about Champs or Foot Action or any of the other apps, but Foot Locker had it on a first come first serve basis at some locations, which I'm actually surprised that they didn't do like the normal launch locator sequence where they do the Platinum VIP or the time ticker or whatever, where you have to check in, that stuff. And I apologize if I'm not familiar to like the Foot Locker or a Champs ad. I just normally don't shop at those stores because I usually can roll up to Sneaker Politics, Kicking at ATX, or Nice Kicks and just roll up and get this shoe with no hassle. But since those boutiques didn't have it, Foot Locker was the only choice, and it's been quite a while since I even set foot in a Foot Locker. I don't even know the last product I bought from Foot Locker. If anything, it was probably just Crep Protect or something like that. So in Austin, Texas, I'm actually near two different Foot Lockers. I'm near the Hancock Plaza one, and I'm near the Capitol Plaza one. And being that it was first come, first serve, I wanted to get there pretty early, and I really didn't know what turnout would look like, especially since it is during a work day, a school day. So I just rolled up early just in case, and there was no one there. And then when the stores finally opened at Hancock Plaza, the employee had actually said that they didn't receive any of these pairs and to go to a different store. Went to the different store, that store didn't have any pairs, they didn't receive that shipment, so they just said to call in during the day. So I went back to work, and at the top of every hour I called each store to see if they got shipment, and then finally Cap Plaza said they had shipment of the shoes. I lifted all the way to Cap Plaza and I was able to cop a size 9.5. I wasn't able to cop my size, which is either an 8.5 or 9. The guy in front of me was trying on the 9 and he bought that pair, so sorry y'all, 9.5 it is. Alright, enough story time. Let's talk about the shoes. So the shoes come in a black Nike Jordan box. It is your typical retro Jordan box. So you have the Nike on top, the Nike on the sides, Nike on the sides, and then the labels at the front. The upper is comprised of several different materials, and being that the lateral and the medial side look pretty much identical, we'll focus on the lateral side of the shoe. The quarter panel on the shoe is done up in a black leather, and it is tumble, but it's not that soft tumble that we're all expecting, but it still feels like a good or average quality. It's nothing special. Towards the bottom, near the midsole almost, you'll see this little font done up in white ink. It says SP19 Air Jordan 1 High OG, and SP19 stands for Spring 2019. In typical Jordan 1 fashion, on top of that quarter panel is going to be that Nike swoosh done up right here. It's stitched on top, and it's done in a hairy suede material, which feels pretty good to the touch, and is done in a gray color. Going towards the front of the shoe, we have this toe box here done in that same gray hairy suede suede material. Again, feeling good to the touch. Now the vamp area is matching this quarter panel right here, done up in that black leather material, and it features some perforated holes for airflow. Again, this black leather that is featured on the shoe, it is not soft to the touch, and I know that's a make or break situation for a lot of people out there, so I'm just letting you know that it's not soft. Or perhaps it is soft on a different pair of shoes and they just didn't do the quality control on the shoe. It might be soft on a different pair, I don't know. Now above that toe box and vamp area, we can get into the lacing system, which features that same gray hairy suede which reaches from the toe box and goes all the way to the collar of the shoe. Now on these panels right here, you'll see some punched in holes forming the eyelets for the shoe laces. On the shoe right now, I have the secondary set of laces on it. It is of a flat shape and is of that crimson color and that cotton build. I actually like the crimson color as opposed to the default laces, which are a black lace, cotton build, and flat shapes. So I'll put up both shoes, one with the black default laces and the other one with a hyper crimson color. You be the judge. This one looks better. Behind those sets of laces is the tongue, and the tongue is padded. It is padded with white foam that is exposed on all sides of the tongue. It's not seamed off. Now, sandwiching that white foam is nylon material. On the top side, you have that black nylon that runs all the way top to bottom, and then on the reverse side, you have white nylon, and this is what throws me off. In my opinion, I would want the inside to be a dark color because your foot gets sweaty and then dirt will rub off onto the tongue, and white will show that very well. If it's a dark color, it won't show as easily, so I don't like this. On the tongue and above this ribbing that we have going on, we have a black label that is sewn at the top and at the reverse side of the tongue. Now, we have the Nike logo, the Nike Air, done up in like gold, a flat gold embroidery, and the swoosh, which is done in that hyper crimson color. It definitely pops on this. On the reverse side of the label, we have that Nike propaganda going on, saying the swoosh and all these trademarks, whatever, blah, 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 made in China, and this is done in that same gold or flat gold color. Moving on to the heel of the shoe, we have this heel cup that wraps from the lateral side to the medial side of the shoe, and it is done in that same gray hairy suede material that you see on the swoosh and the toe box area. Behind this panel is a TPU plate, which enables stability or support for your heel while it's inside the shoe, and you can actually hear that TPU plate when you knock on the shoe. The collar area also features that same gray hairy suede going on from the lateral side wrapping around to the medial side of the shoe, but on the lateral we have that Air Jordan Wings logo, and this is done up in a white ink. Sandwiching that collar strap or that faux strap, we have hits of that hyper crimson color going on the top and the bottom of it, and I think the materials used is actually that same gray hairy suede material, but I think they took an airbrush to it and sprayed some of that hyper crimson color on it, because if you look at it closely, there is some texture to it. It's not a solid gray and not a solid hyper crimson color. Jumping into the shoe, the lining is done up in a hyper crimson color and is made out of a meshing material, and it is padded on all sides, the lateral, the medial, and the heel of the shoe, providing that extra comfort. Pulling the insole out from the shoe, this is what it looks like. We have that hyper crimson color fabric bed going on, which is laid on a piece of thin blue foam. At the heel area, we have that Nike Air branding going on, and it's done up in white. And if you're worried about where the branding is facing, just know that the Nike Air or the bottom of the letters are actually facing the inside of the foot. Now that we're done talking about the upper and the lining of the shoe, we can talk about the midsole, which is made out of a rubber material and is done in the sail color. Employing the use of a rubber midsole ensures durability. Now, this is a Nike Air Jordan, so there is an air unit in here. However, it is not a full-length air unit. It is only at this heel area, so you'll probably notice that cushioning at this point only. Taking a look at the outsole of the shoe, this is what it looks like. It's your typical Jordan 1 traction. You have the circles going on at the forefoot of the shoe, and then you have your grid which wraps around down here. And smack dab in the middle, of course, you have your Nike branding. Now, the color of this is like a light gray. It's not a gray that matches well with this, but you see the difference. Now, the rubber that is on the outsole is not the same rubber that is used on the midsole. The outsole is made out of a blown rubber material, which enables flexibility for when you take your next steps. Let's talk sizing. Normally, I'm rocking a size 8.5 or a 9 US. Whether it's your Nike, your Adidas, it doesn't really matter. Now, this shoe, unfortunately for me, is a size 9.5 US. So my true to size in Jordans is 8.5. So whatever your true to size is in Jordans, definitely go with that for this shoe. I'm more than sure that they're built on the same lasts. So if you don't know your size in Jordans, you can definitely go to your local Foot Locker, Foot Action, Champs, or whatever store is out there. They'll have Jordan stocked and you can try on a Jordan and just walk out. In terms of comfort, this is a Jordan, so don't expect too much in terms of cushioning, comfort, or support. It's pretty flat. Because my feet are pretty weird and pretty needy, I definitely go to like my Academy Sports and Outdoors or Dick's Sporting Goods and get my third-party insole and put them in the shoe, and they fit pretty well on the inside of these shoes. Don't let the absence of support or cushioning deter you from buying this shoe, because you can always buy aftermarket insoles. In summation, at the $160 price point, I do think that this shoe is pretty dope, especially having it in hand. The pictures online on the blogs and Instagram definitely don't do the shoe justice. These shoes are sold out mostly everywhere, and if I wasn't able to get this shoe today, I definitely wouldn't go onto StockX, Grailed, or Goat and cop this on resale. It's a cool shoe, it is a dope shoe, but resale, I think it's kind of high for this shoe. And for the fact that these shoes kind of look like reverse shadows, with the exception of these hyper crimson colors, I definitely wouldn't cop them on resale, especially since I have shadows already. And the materials used on the shoe? They're alright, they're average. Alright guys, I think this is a good stopping point for this video. What do you think about the hyper crimson ones? Is it a good pickup, a bad pickup? Which lace set do you think is better, the black or the hyper crimson colors? Let me know down in the comments below. Go ahead and check out my Instagram, ChrisGotTheLunya with the underscore at the end. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload a new video. Alright guys, I am ChrisGotTheLunya, and we will check you next time. Cheers, sige na.